C to the O to the D to the Y. This is Cody Hawk, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, this the Horse of Horses, Divine Test right here. You're now tuned in to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, this is the Commander of the Quirky Club, Izzy Shaw, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts, who is not here tonight, but who is Scooter Dust.
I think it's time for math to grow up and solve its own problems.
And it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the Commander of Quirky Club, Izzy Shaw!
Hello, guys. My name is Izzy Shaw, the Commander of the Quirky Club from South Australia. And if anybody wants to follow me, I'm available on Facebook at Izzy Shaw Professional Wrestler and on Twitter as Isabel City with 3 X's.
Awesome. And of course, those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox.
Yep.
Could you tell us what you have coming up event-wise as well?
Event-wise, I'm supposed to be wrestling in the semi-finals at Power Slam to get a shot at the first ever Power Slam women's title to become the first ever women's champion. Unfortunately, I was attacked before I was meant to wrestle for that match last week, and I was attacked entering the building. So I'm unsure about when I'll get my opportunity to wrestle again for my semi-final matchup. Everything else, when it comes to my matches, everything's up in the air with COVID. I'm supposed to be in Perth next month. We do not know if that's going to happen currently. So everything's up in the air with my next few matches, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we've only done a few of these interviews in Australia at this point, but it seemed like everything, like maybe 6 months ago, was okay. I mean, you ran shows in the pandemic, correct?
Yeah. So there was a really good period, especially where I was, where we weren't really affected by COVID. But then the thing is that my state has opened up to a lot of the other states, and as a result, COVID's come back.
Okay.
And it's just the issue of now it's like, if you get it, you have to quarantine, and then it can put shows on hold. And then Perth, where I'm supposed to be wrestling next month, are the strictest state in Australia, where they would let me into the state, but they would make me quarantine for 2 weeks, no matter if I'm vaccinated or not. They're just very, very strict on anyone coming into their state at the moment. So that's a bit of an issue for that match to happen. But the rest of us, it was very good for a period, but it ended up getting very bad. And now we're getting better, but now there's more cases coming through. But there are more people vaccinated now, so that helps. So that will help it.
Well, it definitely helps, but that really also sucks because, you're trying to gain momentum and you're trying to stack these matches on top of each other, and then it just kind of stops.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be better when we get hopefully it'll be better soon, because soon I think most of the states will be 90% vaccinated, but unfortunately with the governments, they're not letting us do anything until that happens. So I feel like we'll be better when that happens, but yeah.
All right. And
I won't try to get too political. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries. Now you work for Riot City Wrestling and PS Power Slam. Can you tell us about your relationship with those companies?
Yes, Power Slam, I came in because I wanted to help some of the girls, and Savannah was dominating the women's division at the time, and they had some newer girls, and I was trying to like help bring them up and also take down the wicked Savannah.
Of course.
RCW, I've taken some time off because I lost the women's championship and needed to refocus on myself. But RCW is my main company, so I will be back next year. But I took some time off after losing the belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that more of what was the main reason you took some time off from RCW?
I felt like my head was in the wrong place. I think I let the pressure of being champion overtake me because that was the belt I've spent my entire wrestling career fighting for, and then I had it, and then I feel like I kind of just got too much anxiety and felt too much of the pressure, and then I lost the belt, and it was like I need to like change my mindset. And they had such a strong women's division with Delta and Amber and Savannah that I could spare a few months off. The RCW wouldn't be hindered with me gone for a bit.
I understand that. What, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think was the mental block? Because obviously that was maybe your biggest moment.
I think I've always struggled with doubting myself and always having a little voice in my head that's always saying, always got a little voice in my head that's always giving me negative thoughts. And I was reading the comments, and you would have people that would be like very harsh towards you,
Ooh,
and very much. There's a lot of fans that are very loyal to Savannah. So it's very much like they will defend Savannah, and defend the other girls, and I don't know. I just let the negative overweigh the positive, and got in my head. And I feel like I'm a lot better now. I'm much better now. But yeah, I just let it overtake me, and I couldn't focus on the good.
Okay.
But there were some great times when I was women's champion as well.
So basically, blame Savannah.
Well, not blame Savannah, because there were other girls as well that are also so amazing. But when you have the doubters, I was one of those people that focused on the doubters instead of the people that were being positive towards me. Which I feel like is a struggle that a lot of wrestlers can have. They focus on that one nasty comment instead of all the positive comments.
I totally get that because, social media is not the best thing for things like that.
Yeah, it's not the best thing, but you need it to be in wrestling.
Right. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. Now, going over your impressive roster of matches so far, one to me, actually, technically, there's two to me that stand out. And one is that within your first year of competing, you're finding yourself in a War Games match.
Oh yeah.
With NCPW. What was that like going into having just about a year or so of experience in that, especially at a time when there weren't any War Games matches. This was 2014. And my second follow-up question is, you teamed with Debbie Bennett, Rhea Ripley, and Miss Fortune as Team Kmart.
Yes.
Here in the States, Kmart was the the shop where all the affordable clothes and everything. How did you come to be Team Kmart? So just to reiterate, what was that experience of being in the War Games match so soon into your career, and how did Team Kmart come to be?
Well, Team Kmart will be a hilarious story after I talk about the War Games match.
All right.
But
Yes.
War Games, yeah, that was interesting. I'd never heard of what a War Games match was. I believe I only got asked to do the match 3 weeks before it happened. Yeah, a lot of those women I've never shared a ring with since then. It was very interesting. That is a match that I don't remember much of. I do remember getting my hair very much ripped out in that match. I
Ouch.
remember that a lot. Like the entire match just going, oh my God, I'm going to need a hairdresser after this match. Yeah, that is going back. But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much I can say on that match because it was so long ago and it's one of those matches I've pretty much almost forgotten about. I do remember one of my closest friends back in those days, I believe her name was Minzy?
Minzy Montana?
Minzy Montana. So it's interesting. So we met at the first ever RCW City Chick show, and we clicked, and we were best friends. But then the thing is, we never got to see each other. We only got to see each other like 3 times after that, and never got to cross paths. So it was like the makings of a very good friendship, but we only got to see each other 3 times. We never crossed paths, and she lived in another state, and then she quit wrestling like a few years ago. So that's interesting. I do remember that, being excited she was going to be there with me. Kmart, it's the same with us. It is a clothing store. So the funny story about Kmart is the Kmart show was because the owner of RCW, one of the guys that started it, works at Kmart, and he thought what a funny thing to do is run a wrestling show and have all his co-workers from Kmart come and watch a show. So that's why Team Kmart happened. So we had the people that hated Kmart, and they were Team Big W, which is a store that you have in America, but you call it Walmart.
Yes.
So we don't call it Walmart, we call it Big W. So they were like Team Walmart, so to speak. And we were Team Kmart, and that's how it happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I know what team I would have went with. Kmart, obviously.
Yeah. Very interesting because one, the Cage Match listing lists the opposing team as Team RCW, not Team Big W. And most of the Kmarts here, I know by the time this match happened in the States, we're all gone.
Were they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kmart had a big. Almost I think bankruptcy here in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they've always been strong in Australia. Like that's one of the go-to stores where everyone goes to get stuff.
There was 2 here in California where I live, and I'm not entirely sure if the one is still there, but the other one went out of business, and I know why. It's because you could not check out for anything. You would wait in line for hours and hours, and literally nobody was at the cash register.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ours is self-serve now at our with our Kmarts. They've changed it so the counter is in the center of the shop, and then you actually you do self-serve, and there'll only be one person at a counter, but they rarely do anything. Like they encourage self-serve. So it's like more the older people and people that need assistance that use the person that checks you out.
Yeah, we have self-service as
Yeah.
here. I don't think that Kmart had it though.
And there was a Kmart literally down the block from my apartment here in New York City, and yeah, that closed down. I think before the decade, even before 2010, and that became a Kohl's. But I remember being the one thing in the primary school, elementary school, is that if somebody accused you of shopping at Kmart, you got made fun of.
No,
Kmart's like one of the biggest places we have here.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to Kmart.
you don't have Target there?
We also have Target.
Okay.
There's more Kmarts than Targets, though. I
No.
think there's like, I could be wrong. I can only name about 5 Targets in Adelaide, where Kmart there is a lot more.
No, that's crazy because if I go left, if I go right, if I go forward or back, there is at least one Target on each block.
Yeah,
And I'm not
Target's not really around. Yeah. It's
Okay.
like it's either your big W's or your Kmarts, and those are the big ones.
All right, let's get into wrestling again. We got totally sidetracked over here. But kind of going back to your crowning moment, winning the Riot City Women's title against
Yeah.
Savannah Summers. What was the more achievement there? You know, beating the most prominent woman in Australian wrestling right now, or winning the championship?
Winning the championship. I
Fair
can
enough.
safely say I feel like I've had more matches with Savannah than anyone else. So it's always great to wrestle Savannah. But with Savannah, I've beaten her before, and we've feuded a lot, and we're going to keep feuding because she is my number one enemy when it comes to wrestling. But winning the championship, because when I was a rookie when that title came into the company, and I remember being a 15-year-old kid only training for like 7 months, seeing that title. And I remember Savannah back then was like, "Hey, Izzy, have a look at this." And I saw it, and she let me like hold it for a second. And I was just going to all these wrestlers going, "One day I'm going to hold this. One day I'm going to hold this," and like showing them. And then you got about 8 years later, 8 years later, I finally win it. So with that, it was like the ultimate goal for me. Like there's other goals, but for me, that was the goal I always had since I started. So for me to actually win it, that was like the biggest moment for me.
So you might say that your feud with Savannah is the Tommy Dreamer Raven feud of Australia, or even on the same wavelength of Freebirds Von Erichs.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say that. I'm not too sure on the number, but I can definitely safely say we have definitely wrestled. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm almost 99% positive we've wrestled more than 30 times, and I think that's being generous, like that's being like lowest number. I wouldn't be surprised if someone goes to me going, "Oh, guess what? You've wrestled Savannah 60 times." Like we've always wrestled. Which I don't mind. I love wrestling Savannah. But yeah, it's like she's my main opponent that I've always wrestled.
Well, speaking of another opponent, in your backstage comments after winning the belt, you brought up Mickey Fortune.
Yes,
Is a rematch against Mickey high on the to-do list?
definitely. I don't know how her progress with her ankle is going, because that's why she had to forfeit. Was she injured her ankle in a ladder match? And she recently had a child. But I do believe that she is like close to having a return. So 100% would love to wrestle Mickey again.
Because the original match for the RCW title was supposed to be against her, and then all of that happened, correct?
Yeah, her ankle. Yeah, so she injured the title while she was women's champion, and then we had the title on hold until she came back, and then she came back, and we thought that she'd be 100% healed, and then she had the match with me before we were meant to have that match, and her ankle was killing her. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, she just, we thought she'd be 100% okay, got into the ring, and unfortunately it just hadn't healed the way that we liked. But
Ouch.
I do believe with the time that she's had off, especially the time that she's had off to have a child, I really, really hope that that's enough time for her ankle to be 100% better, and I really do want to wrestle her.
Alright. And Scooter, you have a question.
Now, going back, watching some of your matches over on YouTube, wrestling commentators are supposed to be non-biased, but there seems to be a staggering trend of RCW's commentary team actively rooting for you. So my question is, uh, if and when you watch those matches back and you hear the RCW's commentary team actively rooting for you, does that give those particular matches a little bit more glimmer or shine in your eye?
I think so. Yeah. I like to watch the matches without commentary, but I have listened to some of them. Yeah. It's great that they do put me over. I believe you're talking about Sean, is it? Would it be Sean or Josh Armour back in the day?
I
Uh,
unfortunately did not pick up their names, but the match, one of the matches I was watching was your match against Casey Johns.
oh, that was Sean. Yes. I love Sean. Uh, he's a sweetie. I do believe so. Yeah. It's very, very kind of them to put me over. I do appreciate that, and that's not something that I'd ever ask for. So I do appreciate that I get such kind words when I'm in the ring. I believe it would help, but I generally don't watch the matches with commentary, so I'm probably not. Yeah, probably couldn't give my best answer to that one, but it is very sweet.
No worries.
I know. Now, there isn't many female wrestlers in Australia at the moment. And like
Yeah,
you just said, like you've had like 50, 60 matches with Savannah. So how do you approach a match with somebody you've been in the ring with so many times and try and make it different?
I constantly try to think up new moves. I think it's more trying your best to be more innovative. Try my best to work on. Well, I do this with any match. It's like me considering what can I do next. What's the big thing for the next match? So they're not just seeing the same Izzy Shaw match. It's always different. But yeah, I think it's just more innovation and trying to think of more things I can do and change things up. Because no fan wants to see the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Scooter, you have a question.
Now, one thing a lot of our female guests have in common here on Wrestling with Entertainment is a good majority of them have competed against both men and women in the ring.
Yes.
What are your feelings on intergender wrestling? Should it just be referred to as wrestling from now on? Or does the term intergender still infer a special attraction that goes against societal norms, like, oh, it's not supposed to be happening, but it's gonna happen?
So I'm on the thing of going, I don't see why intergender wrestling should still be seen as an attraction. I'm very much of wanting intergender matches. I used to wrestle in Perth a lot, and I used to wrestle intergender only. And I'm very much fighting for the opportunity to start doing intergender matches in RCW. I just believe you're only as good as your opponent. And no offense to any female wrestler, because I think there are many female wrestlers that are amazing, including the RCW women's roster. But we ain't going to improve if we're just facing the same person. I just feel like you need more opportunities, and you can't get those opportunities if you just got the same 5 people handed to you. If that makes sense. I'm very highly on intergender.
That makes a load of sense, and we're of the same mindset when it comes to wrestling, that it is evolved basically way beyond gender labels at this point, so good on you.
Thank you.
Just a follow up to that. Why do you think RCW doesn't do more intergender wrestling matches? I mean, it would definitely make it a lot easier than doing the rotation with all the girls that are currently there.
I think there's been an issue with comfortability with some people, but also I think that we are going towards that route. So currently Delta, one of our women, she's in the men's tag division. And then you've got Amber, who is currently going out to the ring with Baron and being solely involved with men's storylines. The issue with me is that because it's so new, I can't just go into it. We don't really want it to just be, oh look, Izzy's now in the men's division in like facing the men and give no reason. There has to be. We need to find a good way to initiate this. Now, like bring me into facing the men. We don't want to just make it, oh look, this is happening now. Mickey has also faced the men as well. Before she hurt her ankle in a men's ladder match because it was like a misjudgment of she got pushed off a ladder into a table on the outside, and the table was too far away, and she landed on her feet. That's why she hurt her ankle. Just because when I say she wrestled the men in a ladder match, it wasn't a guy that hurt her. It was just a miscalculation.
Yeah.
But I think RCW is going that route. But because we've always stuck to the divisions, we got to work out a way to bring each woman into facing the men without just going, hey, look, we're just going to randomly have the girls now facing the guys. And also comfortability. There's some people that aren't too comfortable with the idea, or more stuck in their ways of old school wrestling.
I find your choice of phrasing very interesting, that you got to bring the women in to face the men and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Some might say, that it's the men that actually need to evolve towards it, not the women. So you're saying, if I'm understanding this correctly, and please tell me if I'm not, something along the lines of maybe RCW establishes I don't want to call it the intergender championship, but a championship for both the men's and women's divisions. And you hold a tournament or something similar to a G1 Climax League or something like that. You want it to happen, but you also want it to make sense from a storyline perspective.
Yes. I don't know if the title would happen because RCW has only recently brought in the Emerald Crown, so I don't think they would go down a title route. But yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it, like maybe having the guys try to initiate it, but I've been having to think at the standpoint of having how do we get the girls? I haven't actually considered the other way around. It's my head has been stuck on, as the others, it's been stuck on how do we get the women to be put, yeah, how do the women challenge the men instead of how do the men challenge the women,
Well,
which is an interesting way to look at it.
because yes, there are few women wrestlers now, but there is a hell of a number of there's a hell of a lot of talent there, and again, because you have wrestled the same women such a number of times, it's I honestly believe it's the men that should be really again evolving towards uh that. But okay, now you got something interesting to think about, and we like to do that. We like to expand minds here.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it that way. I might think about that a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us about the real Izzy Shaw promo?
The real Izzy Shaw?
The promo you did, the real Izzy Shaw.
Oh, the promo, yeah. So I know I was trying to I wanted to show more of my authentic self. I've always stuck to generic female wrestler and never went out of the box. And I'm a big nerd, so I was like, I want to do more of a cosplay side of myself. Kind of like Leva Bates, but trying to make it more me. And I kind of wanted to show more me. And I don't know, I just didn't want to be generic female wrestler. I'm still working out the kinks, but it was just, and I wanted to show. Sorry, I'm trying to think about my words.
Anyways,
I've always been like that wrestler that always just does the minimum when it comes to showing who I am and always sticking to the generic when it comes to wrestling. And I was kind of wanting to go more of, I want to explore more, trying to be a bit more quirky and a bit more out of the box, because in real life I've got massive ADHD and I play speedruns of Spyro and I love comic books and I love all these nerdy things. And how cool would it be if I go out to the ring as Green Goblin and had my Spyro gear and had my contact lenses and I do a super kick, and now whenever I do the super kick I just go, not today Zerg, because that's one of my favorite things, and trying to go out of the box.
I believe this is what has been referred to by RCW's commentary team, and I'm not sure if you have used the term, but I believe the term is geek life.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So just to follow up on that,
I have a lot of follow-ups as well.
inside or outside of the ring, what would you say has been your ultimate expression of geek life so far? That nerd side, that comic book loving side, which we love.
I mean, I could talk you off about Marvel, which is
Do
fun.
Please do.
Do it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm watching Spider-Man on Thursday, and I can't sleep, guys. Green Goblin is the best ever. After training on Friday, they were as a joke, because one of the wrestlers decided to train in a Spider-Man suit. So there's a joke. They were like, "Okay, everyone, gonna list off their favorite Spider-Man," and I was legit about to rip off the head of anyone that said that Tobey Maguire isn't the best Spider-Man. I was going nuts, and they're like, "Wow, you're passionate," and I'm like, "Yeah, Tobey Maguire." is the best Spider-Man, and the best villain in eternity is Green Goblin, and I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
You know, I
See,
agree
I
with.
can talk here.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm still in the Tobey Maguire camp. I didn't think Andrew Garfield was maybe the best Spider-Man, and I felt like Tom Holland had a lot of potential, but maybe the writing wasn't that great.
Yeah, I can see your point, but nah, Tobey Maguire. I'll fight for my boy.
Yes,
That's all I care about. So seriously, Benedict Cumberbatch is my celebrity crush. I love that man. So as I've said to everyone, I'm like, all I care about is Benedict, Green Goblin, Toby. The rest don't have to be in the movie. I don't really care. The rest don't have to be in the movie.
See, I might say that I might say that the best Spider-Man is actually Christopher Daniel Barnes, voice of the Spider-Man cartoon back in the day. Yeah,
I believe Katie Trey actually said that when we were asked the question. Yeah.
What Spider-Man cartoon was there? There was a couple. There's been a lot, honestly.
It was the original one in the 90s that was on Fox, here in the States anyway. And I believe it's now currently available on Disney Plus, or if not, is coming to Disney Plus along with the original Fox X-Men cartoon,
Okay. Well,
which I believe is setting up for the big reveal that the X-Men are going to be retconned into the MCU.
yeah.
Oh, good. I haven't heard that yet, but I'm excited for that. I'm sure I haven't heard about that, but I love the X-Men.
This all started with the X-Men in that the movie that they did with Hugh Jackman. It kicked this all off. All of these fantastic movies.
Oh, yeah. I'll also rip anyone's head off if they ever change Wolverine. If they ever choose anyone but Hugh Jackman, until the day Hugh Jackman dies, if anyone redoes Wolverine and doesn't make it Hugh Jackman, I will find where they live. I will do it.
So,
That's not serious, though. I'm not actually going to do that, guys. Don't want to arrest me, but
I was about to say, if they picked up where Logan left off, I'm curious as to what your opinion would be if they picked up with his quote unquote daughter.
as long as they're still saying that the true Wolverine is Hugh Jackman, I will be okay with that. I'm okay with that. Just the only true Wolverine until the day Hugh Jackman dies is Hugh Jackman, and that's how I will stand on that one.
Good answer, Bub.
Now you also mentioned doing Spyro speedruns. Which has been the shortest duration, and what has been the longest duration?
Oh, shortest. I mean, one of my first speed runs was like just get past the first level. So I was facing a new girl as well
Oh, so this
who
is
had never played Spyro before. Yeah,
this
so
is
we were just like,
competitive.
sorry?
So this is competitively.
Yes, so my partner and his best friend run a Discord server, and they do Spyro tournaments, Spyro speedrun tournaments. So it's not like a proper speedrun where it's not like 100% games. It's, okay, come up with a goal, and if you win, then you go into the next round. And it was my first one, and I was like, okay, with this new girl who's never played competitively before, and neither have I. So we're like, okay, let's just pass the first level, and whoever gets that. So that was my shortest. My longest was a bit of a complicated one, where it was for the first 20 or 30 minutes, me and this guy would break as many chests as we can in the first game, and it was with all the levels open. And so break as many chests as we can, and then we'd count how many chests we've broken. And for example, if I broke if I broke like 3 chests, he would have to catch 9 dragons, and then it was the same for him. So it was like every chest equaled 3 dragons, and so for the rest of the time, you had to collect the number of dragons until someone won.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the last follow-up question. You mentioned Green Goblin gear. Is that something we're going to see in the future? Is it already made, or what can you tell us about Green Goblin gear?
Green Goblin gear, next year, I'm gonna try my best to get it. It's not made yet. I've been very slack. Also, not enough matches. I just haven't gotten it yet, but I will be starting the process very soon to be getting that going. So Green Goblin gear next year. I might be horrible. I will be horribly late past this movie, but I definitely want it because that's always been the thing. Before it was even announced he was in this movie, like 2 years ago, I said I'm doing Green Goblin gear because to me he is my favorite villain.
Now,
So I have to do him.
would you go about? Are you going about that? Making that yourself? Is somebody making it for you, or
I
you
will.
want somebody to make it?
So I can sew, but my sewing machine isn't fantastic. So we'll see how it wants to go for me. Because sometimes my sewing machine will go, yep, get all you need to do, or my sewing machine will just eat up the fabric.
Ooh.
So I will see. I probably might get Dinky D over in Perth to make it. She's the one that made my Spyro gear, and it turned out amazing. But the helmet and the shield, like the little glider, the helmet and the glider, I don't know why I said shield, I will get Zumbo to make those in Adelaide, and she's the one that made my Spyro horns and wings.
So you're
Okay.
going all out with this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'll probably wear green contact lenses because for
Ooh,
Spyro I wore purple contact lenses. So
interesting. I'm looking
I was,
forward to that.
yes, I was about to say. Yeah, I have a friend from my time with the New York Wrestling Connection who designs a lot of gear, and some of his designs have been displayed on recent AEW television. So if you were looking for somebody a piece that might be difficult to come by, I'd be glad to put you in touch because this guy can do a lot, and he's a huge Marvel fan.
oh, I would actually love that if you want to go and send me through his details.
I absolutely will because I am also responsible for introducing him to his wife. So hey, he kind of
So he owes you.
Sweet.
Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. Now let's get into some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a big stretch, so I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask this question, and if you say no, I'll go immediately on to another question. Are you familiar with Isaac Butterfield?
Yes, I am familiar with Isaac Butterfield.
Do you have any opinions like his on Byron Bay?
Oh, Byron Bay. I've never been to Byron Bay. I hear a lot of jokes about Byron Bay. He shares the opinion that a lot of people say when they want to make jokes about Byron Bay. Haven't met anyone from there personally or been there, but it is the genuine joke when you talk about Byron Bay. Yeah, they're the stuck up place. Apparently, the posh beachy place. The rich person place where you have to have lots of money to be there. So
I believe
yeah,
the response, and we can curse here, so I believe the response is fuck Byron Bay.
yes.
Uh, then Isaac Butterfield is somebody I've only recently discovered in his comedy and his YouTube videos, and he is absolutely hilarious. So I could understand where people might see he goes a little bit too far with certain things in regards to certain national incidents. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I felt like I just had to just at least ask one Isaac Butterfield question. So
Yeah. But Isaac Butterfield is somebody I'll watch on occasion, but he is somebody, it's like, you can get cancelled for agreeing with the guy, but I do like but it is something that I will put on occasion to just see, oh, what's Isaac Butterfield making a video on?
Well, something you won't get cancelled on. You had Kim Possible Shago gear.
Yes, I had that for the Halloween show. I was Chico, and Amber Switch was Kim Possible before she turned into Amber and is now terrifying.
there was no naked mole rat?
No naked mole rat, sorry. Well, I was planning to be either Shigo or Lava Girl for that Halloween, and I had no clue if I was wrestling, and I only found out I was wrestling 2 weeks before the match. I already bought the costume, and so I messaged the booker, and I was like, "Okay, here's the thing. You don't have a choice. I need you to book Amber Switch as my tag partner, and we do a tag match so she can be Kim Possible." And she didn't get a say in it. I'm like, she's going to be Kim Possible.
So this wasn't like a consensual thing. She was being Kim Possible.
Hey, it was her debut. I'm like, hey, you're doing this. It was her first match in RCW, and I'm like, you're going to be Kim Possible. I don't care what you say. You're going to be on RCW, so you're wearing Kim Possible here. She looked good, though.
She did. I think that was the debut of Delta as well.
Yes, that was when Delta showed up.
Could you tell us what's your favorite Kim Possible episode? Or just some fun memories?
I couldn't actually tell you. I don't know. I always, for some reason, one of the moments that always pops in my head is when she's trying to like force herself to lie. And it's like, I remember her in the bathroom or something, and she's like, wrestling is fake. And she can't like say it. And I remember watching that when I still thought wrestling was real. And I remember now loving that moment, but as a kid I hated it. Though that was the one point where I hated Kim Possible, because I'm like, how dare you, Kim Possible? That's a lie. You did lie.
And ironically enough,
little...
that was the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
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 No, my favorite episode is the mind control shampoo.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
All right.
Scooter, you have a question?
Now, and I'm going to share this factoid again. For those who didn't know, I spent 3.5 years off Broadway with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That means I ran around a theater in fishnets and high heels. The reason I bring this up, you are a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes, I am.
This is a multi-part question. Have you seen any of the non-Australian versions? And if so, who's been your favorite outside of Australia? Who's been your favorite inside of Australia? And follow up, what would your drag name be if you could choose one? And if you choose one, I will tell you mine.
Okay. So I've only seen the Australian one, obviously. I've seen the American ones. I haven't seen any of the ones besides the American ones, the All Stars. I've seen all the Untucks. I've also seen the Belay Brothers Dragula season's Dragula.
I just want
because I have Shudder.
Shudder, yes.
Yes. So I have Shudder, so I've seen all the Dragulas. I would say, actually, I didn't even have to think. My favorite drag queen is Bianca Del Rio. Love Bianca. My favorite one from this season of Dragula has to be Denali. Dali? How do you say her name again? I forgot. Dali? I think Dali.
Yeah.
I love them. And my favorite from Australia, not even Australian, is the lovely Anita Wiglet. And I saw her come. She came to Adelaide, and I dragged my sister. I'm like, "Come on, we're going to see Anita." So yes, love Anita Wiglet. Drag now. Don't know.
Well,
I don't know what it would be a drag name because it would be. I don't know. I guess I would have to go with be like a drag king.
that's true. Fair enough.
Sorry, my brains went to a blank off. I actually have tried to think about this before, and I just can't think of one. I remember once I had a friend named Chris, and we came up with a drag name for him, and we're going to call him Crystal Diamond because his name was Chris. So we'll start with Chris, and then it'll be Crystal Diamond. So I remember coming up with a drag name for him. And I tried to put my boyfriend in drag once, and he wasn't a fan. And I only got as far as the foundation and the eyebrows, and then it got to the eyes, and I had to stop because he refused to let me touch his eyeballs. So,
That's not a man. No. Mine, and just for a quid pro quo, mine would be the Jewish drag queen known as Labia Minora. And she'd come out with a huge Hanukkah menorah headpiece and then everything. I have put way too much time into thinking about this.
I love that. Yes.
Last follow-up question to this. Have you ever told somebody sashay away?
No, but I do use the term I feel very attacked a lot. As a joke, I'll be like, I feel very attacked.
No.
Now,
Continue, Stuart.
Well, I just want to follow up. I have this in my mind. You mentioned your sister dragging her to see Anita, and your little sister appears to be as much of a wrestling fan as you are. Now, keep in mind the pictures I did see were from about 5 years ago. Did she or would she follow in your footsteps to pursue wrestling training?
Definitely not. No, she's not much of a wrestling fan nowadays. She's kind of drifted away from it. But yeah, but she will come and watch me. But nah, she is definitely never being a wrestler. That is, she's a dancer. So her passions are very much in dancing and photography and cinematography. That's more where she wants to put her passion to.
Hypothetically
Yeah.
speaking, if she was to get into wrestling, would you be the supportive sister, or would you be the Roman Reigns fall in line Oos sister?
Oh, I would definitely be supportive of her if she wanted to do wrestling. 100% be happy for her. I don't think she would ever consider it, but if she did, I'd be happy and I would help her as much as I can, and I'm happy with whatever she wants to do. I'm very supportive over her.
Now, you don't have a drag queen name, but you are also known as Kitty Katana and Nedra. Is that correct?
I was the Nidra a few years ago as a mask gimmick for a few shows, but I don't think I'll ever do Zanidra again. Kitty Katana, I don't think she'll ever make an appearance either again, unless I need to. That was, Kitty Katana was interesting. I'm not too sure if I'll ever do her again. They were once-off mask gimmicks, but I'm more open to Kitty Katana than I am Zenidra. But I've done a Crazy Izzy gimmick, especially for Underworld. I was doing a Crazy Izzy gimmick, and that's something I would definitely bring back. I'm happy to do that if anyone books me as that. But yeah, nah, Kitty Katana and Zenidra are probably just going to stick into the cupboard and never see the light of day again.
Damn. Just when we were getting our hopes high.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes.
And don't forget the Burger King question, damn it.
I think you mean the Hungry Jack question, James. Yes, one thing we ask all of our Australian guests: do you ever eat at Hungry Jack's?
Yes, I may have eaten Hungry Jack's a few nights ago.
Because we have an unusual fascination with the fact that it's Burger King here, but Hungry Jack's in Australia, because there was already a Burger King prior to Burger King trying to franchise in Australia.
Well, actually, what I heard was that, I might be wrong, but I heard that Macca's found out that that Burger King were going to come to Australia.
Yes.
So McDonald's actually copyrighted the name in Australia. I don't think it was actually a restaurant. It was just McDonald's realized Hungry Jacks were interested in Australia, and and they just sneakily copyrighted the name to try and stop Burger King from coming to Australia. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard.
I think that actually might be right.
But do you actually believe that? If we're getting into conspiracy theories here.
True. I actually believe it. I feel like Macca's seem like type of company that would do that. They'd be like, nah, we don't want you there. And then Hungry Jack's is like, nah, we're still going to rock up.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, who's worse, Voldemort or Shane Dawson?
Shane Dawson.
Right answer. All right, why don't we move this along, and I think we're going to move into our next segment, and it's going to segue with this question. How much of a My Chemical Romance fan would you say you are?
Massive My Chemical Romance fan. They are my favorite band of all time.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? I would say Helena.
That is a good one.
That was the first My Chemical Romance song I ever heard.
Well, that's a segue into our next question. Kaliko's colossal question, not actually featuring Kaliko. They're making a movie about you. And every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on the Izzy Shaw wrestling soundtrack?
Okay, interesting. I like to sing the song by Set It Off, which is Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. It whenever I'm singing about my enemies in the shower, I like to sing that song. So I would add that song. I'd have that song. It would have I don't know. Why do I feel like I'd have Popular from Ariana Grande and Mika? God, these are a lot of revenge songs. I've actually got issues, guys. Jesus. That one. And then...
That's 2.
Yeah.
When you said Popular, I immediately thought the mid-90s song from Rare ska band Not a Surf.
What would be my third song? I'm thinking, sorry, I'm trying to just think in my head what it would be.
No worries. That's the question that broke Mike Law.
I feel like Boulevard of Broken Dreams to segue all the by Green Day to segue all the times in my past that I have left. There we go.
There you
That's
go.
one. I've got a lot of issues. That's a lot of revenge and sad songs. Okay. Thank you for making me think about the next time I have to speak to a therapist.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry. I'm speaking to my therapist in a couple days, so don't even worry.
Now, do you lock those three songs in?
Yes, I'll lock them in.
All right. Now, who's your favorite Doctor? Speaking
Favorite
of
Doctor?
Doctor Who.
Eccleston.
Huh?
Eccleston. And I'm heartbroken he only got one season, but I know he wasn't happy on set. But Eccleston.
Yeah.
I work at a store that is like a electronic store, but it also sells like DVDs and stuff. And I had a customer come in and just wanted all the Tenant stuff. And I'm just like, I'm more of an Eccleston fan. I love Eccleston.
That wouldn't be FYE, would it?
FYE.
The store you mentioned.
Oh no, it's called JB Hi-Fi.
Oh, JB Hi-Fi.
I think it's Australian only.
Okay. Yes, Eccleston is great, and I love the way Eccleston went out. It's like, you were great, and I was too. I love that. Absolutely love that. But there will always be a soft spot in my heart for David Tennant.
Yes. Tennant has to be the next. Well, yeah, Tennant is the second. If we're talking about the newer Doctors, if we're talking about like the old Doctors as well, it'd have to be the fourth Doctor as my second favorite,
which I believe is John Pertwee.
Oh wait, no, Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, yes.
Is that the fifth? Am I just getting my things messed up? My brain messed up? I'm supposed to be a Doctor Who fan, guys. But yeah, I was a bit sad with the Flux series that came out a few days ago because they finished so great with the Village of the Weeping Angels. That was an amazing episode, amazing ending, and then they kind of ruined it with that last one.
Tom Baker was the fourth Doctor. Peter Davison was the fifth.
Yes, so it was the fourth Doctor. Yep. My brain was messing up for a second. But yeah, it would go Eccleston, then him, and then Tennant, and then I would say Capaldi and then Matt Smith. Because I never watched any of the other older Doctors because as a child I didn't realize he regenerated. And I've always been a person that if you replace someone, I'm not a fan of it. So as a kid, I remember just constantly watching Tom Baker's episodes. And then one day I turned on the TV and it was a new Doctor. And I was like, I'm not going to watch it anymore. And it's not until I got older, I went, he's meant to be different. Oh. And I never watched any of the old ones.
That's kind of crazy because my grandfather, do you know who his favorite Doctor was? The original Doctor. He actually watched the original series of the Doctor Who.
William Hartnell,
yeah.
Doctor.
I don't necessarily. I know that the last two Doctors he did not like, but he liked Matt Smith and David Tennant.
Yeah.
But he watched every episode of every season of every series.
Any opinions on the great acclaimed John Hurt as the War Doctor?
I do like it. I think he's a good War Doctor. I really enjoy that. I mean, you've only seen him in a couple of episodes, but I do like it. I think it's good casting.
All right. Scooter, any last questions?
Any-
I mean, this would be the part where I say don't forget the Burger King question, but you already asked it. All right.
You recently tweeted out about giving a message of essentially being comfortable in your own skin. Is there an empowering message that you'd like to get to anyone listening about being comfortable in your own skin?
Yes. Well, I've got to be, because it was a wrestling post and I can only really speak from that, but wrestling, it's like, it's 2021. There is no size when it comes to wrestling. Don't let what it says on the scale or how much different you are to your opponent affect how you think you're worth in the ring. Don't let a fan that thinks that you're fat when you're only 60 kilograms, which is nothing, affect what you wear. Like, it's the 21st century, and your weight and your size and your has nothing to do with your in-ring ability. Don't let those people affect you mentally because they don't know what they're talking about. It's gone the days of steroids.
Love it.
That's what I'll say on it.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love that positivity.
Now, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
My stance is I despise pineapple in general. So I always say I will not eat pineapple on pizza, but that's because I dislike pineapple. So I've got a different take than other people.
Interesting. I don't think we've had anybody that just straight up hated pineapple on before.
Yep, can't eat it. So it's like if someone goes, if I'm at a party and they go, "What do you want as a pizza?" I'll say whatever doesn't have pineapple on it, but then I'll instantly go, by the way, I'm not a person that just hates pineapple. I'm not one of those people. I just can't stomach it. So
Well,
that's
no.
why I don't have pineapple.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
Spirit Pokemon. Well, I haven't watched much Pokemon, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the Eevee. Eevee, is it? It's
Yes.
cute. It's a cute little one, so I want to be that one.
All right. Will this question you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast? Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, Scooter,
Not the country.
an actual rock.
Yeah. I've already said I'd wrestle the Invisible Man, so yeah, I'll wrestle Rock.
Ooh.
All right. What
Ooh,
about
I think
the
that-
Invisible Man with a rock? Handicap match.
I'd do it. I'm crazy enough. I'll do it. I'll power drive them both.
Just, just for
Top rope
context,
suplex. I'll do it.
there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual rock for over 15 minutes in what was called a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
we should inform you that he is Canadian, so that might answer some things. No.
Well,
Well,
you know what?
yeah.
My guy is pretty cool. Go for him. Good for him wrestling a rock. I'm glad that he's not the hero that we asked for, but he's the hero that we need. I'm very happy with that.
I love that. And so here we love Tracy Smothers. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No. No, I don't. Sorry.
Gooder, you want to do it?
T is for terrible. H is for hell. U, James, what was you again?
Ugly.
U is for ugly, and G is for jail, cause a thug can't spell.
Did you legitimately forget what you stand for?
I wasn't sure if it was ugly or if it was something else. James, I'm 37 years old. My mind is going.
Alright, it is now, once again, time for that segment. Izzy Shaw's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
So, a weird story about wrestling? Is that what you need?
Yes, weird, crazy, bizarre, road story, something that fits that description.
Weird, crazy, bizarre. Ooh, let me think. See, I once had to be in a car ride for 2 hours with beer spilled over me twice. That was fun. Had one of the wrestlers make me laugh so much I accidentally spilt spilt beer all over the driver's brand new car. And then we stopped at McDonald's so I could change, and a bunch of the other wrestlers decided, oh, hey, we're going to eat here too. And then they proceeded to tell all the other wrestlers I peed myself.
Oh,
So that's been a fun joke going on, that apparently I peed myself, because that's the only story that possibly happened in that car. And then the next show at the same place, so another 2-hour car ride, during the match, Kellyanne spat beer at me, which I agreed to as the spot, forgetting that, yeah, I've got to get into a car for 2 hours. There's no showers, and I have to get on a plane pretty early in the morning. So I just had to go on a plane smelling like beer. That was fun. What else has happened? Too many broken down cars stories. I always seem to make whenever I'm interstate, if a wrestler has to drive me anywhere, I always seem to make sure that the car breaks down. That's fun.
ooh.
And I once had a plane delayed. Plane was delayed, and the only possible way to get home, because I had a connecting flight, was to get into a bus and drive to the next airport with all the wrestlers.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
I'm sorry. I couldn't come up with any crazy stories. My brain blanked. So those were my stories. I'm sorry. They weren't great, but
Oh no, boys, those were good. We will accept those answers.
I mean, the fun, I guess the one that probably most fit those lines was the fact that every single wrestler then continued to think that I peed myself when I was just had beer all over me, because they made me laugh so much I spat it out, and then was made to clean up the poor driver's car, rightfully so, but his brand new bought that week car, which was fun.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't kind of try to pull like a Billy Madison. Be like, everybody my age pees their pants. It's the coolest. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
Look, that's an option. It's just not an option I selected. Maybe next time. Maybe next time I'll think about that.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years? I kind of have settled on 32 being the age I kind of stopped wrestling. So 5 years, I want to wrestle in Japan. Love Japan. I want to wrestle in Japan. And I really want to, at some point, when I'm able to travel again and I have the money, I want to at least say that I went to America and did some shows, and I want to train with Thunder Rosa.
Oh.
I will be happy. I feel like I'm happy with me going. I obviously would love to get signed in an AEW or an Impact and actually, pursue wrestling. But I'm also the type of person going, if I get a injury and I have to quit, I'll be okay. I'll be happy. I'll be fine. I'll still be that crazy lady at RCW backstage when I'm 80 when I'm 80 years old. I'll be that crazy lady backstage annoying all the new young wrestlers. But in 5 years' time, I just want to go. I did as much as I can, and as long as I at least get a match in Japan and a match in America, I think I'll be happy. And I'll still try the best I can to go as far as I can, but I'll be okay. Yeah, but 32 is the age I want to stop.
Well, it may be coincidence, but we here in Wrestling with Entertainment, our guests have we're like a lucky charm, because a good deal of our guests, soon after doing interviews with us, have found themselves on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation.
Honestly, that would be the dream. I would love to be on an AEW show. Like, just a dark, honestly, you could just feed me to Nyla Rose, feed me to Abaddon. I won't care. Just, like, you know what? Give me like a 2-minute squash match for Jade Cargill and just have the entire match her just destroying me. I'll just be like, I was on AEW. I'm happy. I'm okay with this.
Well, that's what happened to Janai Kai.
Yeah.
I mean, we interviewed her a while back ago as well.
Look, I hope
Huh?
that you guys are luck charms because I would love that. I hope you guys are luck charms because I would love that.
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
What is a match?
Tony Khan, please phone me. please just hire me for a match.
Tony, do it.
Tony.
What is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Izzy Shaw is all about?
Honestly, any match against Tarly, I would. I think she is amazing. So any match against Tarly, highly recommend. If you can find any gems of me versus Felix Young, once again, highly recommend. My match against Delta and Savannah at the Fringe, the triple threat that was in March, I believe. I would definitely give that a watch. My matches against Mickey Fortune, the last two. The last two matches were Mickey Fortune, and my match with Savannah Summers for the belt. Also, there for RCW 100, highly recommend the women's 5-way match, which a lot of people have said is the best women's match RCW ever did. So those are the matches I'd recommend.
I'm glad you were so elaborate because I was about to amend that question to be, and it can't be a match against Savannah.
Yeah.
Now, we are nearing the conclusion of this interview. We are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
No actual doom to be incurred.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Yes.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Greatest wrestler of all time. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go with current Kenny Omega.
Oh, interesting. Worst wrestler of all time.
Oh, actually, no, Bret Hart. Bret Hart.
Bret Hart for best wrestler.
Bret Hart for best
wrestler of all time.
Okay. Worst wrestler of all time.
Worst wrestler of all time. Gobbledygooker.
Gobbledygooker. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a speed bump a lot of our guests hit because they don't like to really say anything negative, but that is a damn fine answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your main event in WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Rhea Ripley. Never got to actually wrestle her. Actually, no, I wrestled her once, but it was like a 5-minute match at a Comic-Con. So Rhea Ripley.
And Team Kmart.
Yeah.
No,
I would.
you come in and then you say, I've turned to Walmart. And then
Oh.
pow! And
Yeah.
that's the rivalry right there. Look at Vince.
Book it, Vince.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Anyone's entrance music, past or present. Edges.
Which
Which
one?
one?
The current one.
On this day, I see clearly.
Yes.
Yep.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
Kayfabe is not relevant anymore, but I still like it around.
Okay. We would have.
I don't mind a little bit of kayfabe sprinkled in, but I don't think that using it as an absolute rule anymore. I don't think that we have to like stick to keep kayfabe alive. I like it around a little bit, but it's not that relevant. We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, okay. We also would have accepted it as quite good on toast.
Oh yeah,
With a little.
I'm sure it's delicious.
With a little Vegemite.
Oh yeah, love my Vegemite. The amount of Vegemite I eat would kill you guys.
Oh,
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, tail dart.
Oh no! The Vegemite I have on toast would kill a lot of Australians.
Are we talking Tom Hanks level?
I mean, so most Australians have like the lightest little bits, like you barely see the Vegemite.
Yeah,
I don't want to see toast on my Vegemite.
Oh.
So in school, when we used to do school camps, they'd have like an eating challenge where each person in the group would have to choose a food that they had to eat. Always put my hand up for the Vegemite. No one else would pick the Vegemite. I'd put my hand up, and it would be a whole teaspoon of Vegemite. I can just down it. I love Vegemite.
Wow, your sodium must be through the roof.
Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Fruit or vegetable? Squash. I've never actually seen squash. Fruit.
That is correct.
Ah.
It is indeed a fruit. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
With Taichi, I mean, I think it should just cover the butt cheek. I don't need to see Taichi's butt cheeks at all, but just covering. Just covering is an appropriate amount. I mean, with women's wrestling, it's different. I don't know. I just think just covering the butt cheeks. If you see a little bit of butt, it's fine, but I think that's the appropriate amount.
I think, James, this might be the first time someone has actually seen Taichi wrestle and knows what we're talking about.
Okay, so to be honest, guys, I watch I love watching New Japan, love watching Impact, love watching AEW. Ask me, if you go and ask me a current WWE question, it will go over my head. That's the one product that I'm like, I know nothing about. I saw Damian Priest when I watched WrestleMania with my friends, and like that's the only time I watched WWE. And I was like, is that what Damian Priest looks like? And I was shocked because I'm like, why do I have a completely different man in my head? Like, I would see these wrestlers and go, they look different in my head when I'd hear their names.
The former Punishment Martinez.
Well, just out of curiosity, what did you think Damian Priest looked like?
I don't know. Just with the name, I was expecting like I don't know. I felt like
Well-
I was thinking a Snitsky kind of person
or
with like dark eyeliner
like-
or something.
or somebody like Gangrel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just with the name, I was just like instantly going dark eyeliner, big guy, some guy like you'd be terrified to see in an alley. And then I saw Damien Priest. I'm like, that's what he looks like. I had no clue.
I think you just gave me an idea for a new segment on the show.
Oh my God! Yes, James.
Now, the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No, I have not. But if I ever heard Darby Allin mentioned by a stranger, I'd definitely jump into that conversation.
And that is
But no, I have not.
the correct answer. Thank you so much, Izzy, for doing this with us.
That's okay, guys. Thank you for having me.
And once again, where can we find you on social media?
So you can find me at Izzy Shaw Professional Wrestler on Facebook. You can on my Facebook page. I've also got an Instagram, which is Izzy Shaw 46. And you can find me on Twitter as Isabel City with 3 X's.
Oh, you get your mind out of the gutter.
And you have merchandise?
Merchandise, I have 2 t-shirt designs up on Wrestler Merch. Unfortunately, they only ship to Australia currently. If you want to get a shirt, I can organize with you for me to get them printed from Wrestler Merch and I'll go and ship them out to you. And I'm currently looking at other options for international shipping.
All right. And
Yeah.
all of those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. You've been listening to her for an hour and a half. By a damn short. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was our last interview of the year, starting with Becca, ending with Izzy Shaw. Thank you for making this an incredible first year of wrestling with entertainment interviews. Next week on the show we have the Renegade Twins. The week after that, Angela Slane, and the week after that, Mr. Grimm. So January already looking pretty good for us. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling with E. And you can follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. You can follow Kaliko at I am Kaliko. Where can they find Scooter?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at Scooter Dust. You can find me along with James on the Remix, the only live streaming alternate commentary podcast on the web today. Next time we come at you is with day 1 on January 1st. Yes, we are doing it. Hopefully, it isn't a complete shit show. As well, find me along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan as we raise money for News Story throughout Thankmas over on our Twitch channel. We are raising money for News Story. They rehome people who have lost their homes using 3D printed homes at the cost of $10,000 a home. It only takes $10,000 to put somebody in a home who desperately needs one. And we have raised over $15,000 so far. And I have made this promise that if we get to $20,000 by the time it ends on December 31st, I will cut my hair, which has not been cut in over 4 years. So please, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons, anything you can give for Thankmas to help somebody get in a home who doesn't have one, who desperately needs it. Twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
Alright. Izzy, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment.
Yep.
For our very special guest Izzy Shaw, Coleco Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling Wit.
Entertainment.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.